on Saturday night, going to be shown live on BT Sport and on Box Nation, and we're confident that following on the tremendous success of the last show in Belfast, that this is going to be another one to remember. And it is terrific to be able to welcome back fighting here for the first time since 2014. James Degale, one of our most popular fighters, great bill as well on the undercard. Lee Selby in action as well, Anthony Yard, Daniel Dubois, and a lot of other good fighters. Caleb alongside me, I'm sure, thinks that he is going to give James Degale a tremendous fight. Frank Warren is promoting it, and Frank, it's another terrific show in prospect.
Excuse me, it is. Sorry, I've had a bit of flu, so I lost my voice a bit. It is. We're delighted. I'm really pleased that we're showcasing James. It's nice to be working with him after all these years. For him to have his homecoming in London, which I believe is going to be a sellout at the Copper Box, I think it's been fantastic for him, fantastic for the London and British fans. And we welcome Caleb over here. I'm sure he's coming here. He wants to, in his mind's going to try and upset the party. But I know James has had a tough year being out of action with his operation to his shoulder. He says now, I'm sure you hear from himself, he's firing on all cylinders, and he's going to win this fight, win it in style, win his homecoming in style, and set himself up for some really big fights next year, hopefully in London, and hopefully we'll be working with him on that, and we would be pleased to be doing that.
Well, we'll look at the undercard in a few minutes' time, but let's start off with the main event, and with James back here in London. How does it feel to be contemplating a fight on home territory at last?
It feels great. My last fight in London was about 2.5 years ago, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. As Frank said, it should be a sellout. Hearing the tickets have gone extremely well, so yeah, man, I'm looking forward to feeling the vibes and the atmosphere.
How difficult has it been being on the road? I know it's sort of needs must and that sort of thing, but actually fighting away from home as you have been doing, how tough has that been?
Sure, no, I've actually enjoyed it. I've enjoyed boxing America, my American experiences, the opponents, the fights over there. But it's just time for me now to come back home. And then boxing my home city. There ain't fans out there like England fans, so yeah. So I just wanted to come home and box for my own people.
What do you want from England, from your fans here, that you've not been able to get while you've been abroad?
What do I want from them? Nothing. I just want to box for my own people. So many people have been calling for me to come back, and I haven't. So when I had the chance to, my advisor Al Heyman and Frank Warren are working together now. And yeah, they put this opportunity towards, and I said, yeah, let's do it.
And as Frank said, you have had a tough year. I mean, Badu Jack was a hard fight.
Yeah, but that was because I was one-armed, and you don't want to see on Saturday night that it really was the shoulder. Like, it's crazy. When you look at the punch stats of me and Badu Jack, I threw 7 jabs in the whole fight. I'm a right-handed southpaw. I hook off my jab. I jab a lot. I couldn't do that. So on Saturday you will see a 2-armed me and go out there and throw a lot of punches, a lot of jabs, a lot of hooks, and yeah, they're going to see a fantastic performance.
I'm confident that everything's fully repaired. What was the operation you had exactly?
Oh, my shoulder was in bits, John. I had a 180-degree tear around it. My AC joint needed stabilising. That means the AC joint from here needed anchoring up, and I had to tear my rotator cuff, so my shoulder was gone. People don't realise that. Even in the Medina fight, that's when it started. But when you watch the performances from the Badu Jack, from the Boutte fight and the Durrell fight, you can see I'm moving a lot better. I'm throwing a lot more jabs. I'm throwing a lot more combination. And against Medina and Badu Jack, you see, there was issues there. But I'm just glad that I'm healthy. I'm fit. I sound like a parrot because it feels like I've said that for the past how many weeks now, but I'm just glad that I'm back. We're able to go. Boxing is a fantastic card. You've got some young talent. You've got Yard, Dubois, and you've got Selby, one of my favourite fighters in London. one of my favourite fighters in England, so he's brilliant. So this show is fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. Should be good.
Well, that's about you. What can you tell us you're anticipating from Caleb?
Listen, he's actually a good fighter. He's been in there with some good quality opponents. He knocked down Jermaine Taylor, but the level of opponents I've been boxing my last 4 or 5 fights have been the best. And every time that he stepped up to the highest level, he's found. I'm recognised as #1 in the world, so I'm looking to get in there and doing a proper job on him. And that's like, listen, I've got respect for him. When we get in there, I'm going to take him out. I need a performance. I need one. Everyone's calling for a stand-up performance, a dominant performance, and that's what I'm going to do.
He's going to take you out, Caleb. What do you reckon?
I disagree. No, like you said, I respect James' abilities. Has a great amateur pedigree. He's got great experience in the pros, but I'm coming here to fight, and it's too long of a flight for me not to come to fight. I mean, it's a 8-hour fight. I wouldn't come here if I didn't think I was going to win. And I'm here to show the British boxing fans what I'm all about. You guys have some of the greatest fans in the world. It gets pretty rowdy in the arenas over here, and I'm looking forward to the atmosphere, and I'm ready to go.
You'll have studied him, obviously. He's been a television fighter for a long time. You'll have studied him long and hard, presumably.
Yeah, I've seen probably his last 3 or 4 fights live, and have had plenty of time to catch up on film study of his fight with Badu Jack and with Degale and all the way back to Groves, and just kind of looking to see what tendencies he has and what he's good at, what he's not so good at, and he's a hell of a fighter, and I have to be at my best in order to beat him, and that's what I feel like I'm at, and that's what I feel like I'm going to do on Saturday.
What do you think the key factors are going to be? I mean, obviously, he's been out of the ring for a while.
Yeah.
So, are you anticipating seeing a little bit of ring rust, maybe? A little bit of uncertainty?
That's not something I'm going to anticipate seeing. I'm going to anticipate him at his best, and if he does have ring rust, so be it. If he doesn't, so be it as well. And I'll just be ready for the best that he can give me, and I anticipate he's going to come out and jab and hook with his hand, like he said he wasn't able to do against Badu Jack. So that's something I'll have to be ready for, and all the work's been put in, and I'm just ready to go.
What would it mean to you to beat him, to spring the upset? Because it would be a sizable upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the IBF belt. That means I'm a world champion, man. That's what every fighter dreams when they're growing up, and that's what everybody's in the game for. So it's a huge. It'd be a huge upset. It'd be a opportunity for me to be a world champion, like I always wanted to be, and a great opportunity for my family, and financial opportunity for me as well.
The one defeat on your record, of course, against George Groves. Bad decision, yeah.
Yeah, well, Frank was promoting it, he knows. But yeah, listen, I've got to get past Truex first. I'm going to put on a wicked performance here, and then next year's a massive year. A massive year with domestic fights, but for world titles as well. Eubank, Groves, Smith, but they're the fights next year I want. And even if it ain't them 3, worldwide there's some fantastic fights out there. There's Benavidez, there's Ramirez, and them fights can be made. Frank Warren works with Bob Arum closely, so we could get Ramirez over there. Al Heyman works with Benavidez. We can do it. So the big fights, I only want the big fights.
So where does that sit, Frank, for potentially for 2018 for James? You know, you mentioned those names, but a lot of people also want to know, what about Eubank? What about Groves? What about Smith?
Well, they're all tied up at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Series that they're involved with. And I shouldn't think James will want to be sitting around here. I'm quite sure he wants to be out having the big fights. He wants to be fighting again in the spring. We'd love to be doing something with him, and we're in the business of delivering big fights, and we want to put on some big fights. We want to work with James. He's been as we call him, the road warrior. He's been out there, he's done it the hard way. And, you know, and I didn't realise, you know, with this injury that he had in his last couple of fights, you know, how, excuse me, how bad it was. And when you look at the fights and you see those couple of, you know, in the mid-rounds where it's sort of, you think he's going to sleep a bit, you can see now that he's probably conserving himself, but he showed, you know, his heart and so forth to know that he's got to nail it on by coming on strong in the late rounds, and you've got to take your hat in for that. But this is a big moment for him. This is a big moment. This is a big fight for him. This is as big a fight as they can be, because he can't afford to slip up. He's got to beat this guy. He's got to beat him in style. And, you know, if he does that, then we'll all be working hard, all of us, to get a big fight for him, a big stadium fight next year.
Well, let's talk as well about Lee Selby in action as well, fighting Mexico's Eduardo Ramirez, who's undefeated, IBF World Featherweight Champion, and for Lee as well, Josh Warrington. He's going to be his mandatory challenger. Carl Frampton waiting in the wings as well. He's got a massive year as well, Frank.
He has, but before he does that, we've got to find the opponent. He's gone on the missing list. That's why we started late. They've been looking for him in his hotel room. He's not there. All their kit's in there. They just disappeared. So we're looking for them at the moment. Hopefully we'll be here. Just to get the record correct, he weighed in 4 pounds over the check weight yesterday, which means he's 8 pounds overweight coming into the fight. The British Boxing Board of Control have said that he cannot come in any lower than 9 stone 2 for health and safety reasons, for his own health reasons. And that if the fight goes ahead, and I'm sure it will go ahead, that Lee will remain champion whatever the result of the fight. That's from the IBF. So we've got a bit of a problem at the moment. Hopefully this fellow will show up. He's in the hotel. He's as I say, all his kids in the hotel. They've been to the rooms, but him and his team are all on the missing list. And to say it's unprofessional is an understatement. But we are where we are. And you know, this match was not made by us. It was made by Leeds team, which we, you know, the opponent was very happy with. But it's this is totally unprofessional. It's unacceptable. So hopefully they'll find him, because I want to see Lee in action. I want to see Lee have a real good win on the night, because I want to see him in with my man. I want to see him in with Josh. And you know, he's trained hard for a fight. He'll want to fight. And it's crazy we're in this position.
So Lee, how frustrated are you to be hearing that?
It is frustrating, but to be honest, with my career this last year, leading up to fights, nothing shocks me no more. So I just remain professional, look after myself, make sure I'm on weight, and I'm ready to fight.
You're ready to fight, and you've potentially got those massive fights next year that I was talking about. I mean, I forget how many press conferences I've been to where Josh Warrington seems to have been calling you out. Carl Frampton is down the line as well. I mean, it's a mouth-watering year potentially, 2018.
I said there's some big fights looming, but my sole focus is on Saturday night. I got a tough test in front of me. I come through that, and then I can start looking towards the big fights. What
do you know about it, apart from the fact he's not made the weight?
To be honest, I don't really study my opponents. I like to look them up on YouTube just to check out their style, whether they're like a pressure fighter, a boxer. And what I've seen of him, he's a southpaw. He looks a decent size, similar height to myself. I've seen him applying pressure, and I've seen him try to box on the back foot, so he can mix it up a bit. But again, he's like a typical Mexican. He's very, very tough. He's unbeaten. He's had a few draws, so he should provide me with a good test.
He was a very good Cuban who he got a draw against last time out, and he reckoned that he should have. And a few people at ringside reckoned that he should have got the verdict. So I mean, on paper, as you say, it's not an easy one.
No, it's not an easy one. And at this level, there are no easy fights. You know, he's ranked in the top 10 of the IBF. So to be in them ratings, you've got to be a good fighter.
If you could map out the ideal 2018, what would it be?
To box on Saturday would be a good start, and to win. Then I got my mandatory Josh Warrington. I'd like to beat him, and then I'd set up a massive fight with Carl Frampton towards the end of the summer. beat him, and then go back to America and look for a unification fight with ideally Leo Santa Cruz or one of the other champions.
Is that all realistic, Frank?
It is, provided we get, one thing he forgot to mention, that Lee forgot to mention about Ramirez is that he's also very elusive. Hopefully, all those, that's a great plan. That's what we're all working towards. That's what that's why we're all here. This was what the plan was, and hope it will still be. So, as I say, we just get this one out of the way. Hopefully, we find this fellow today, and he's got to do the business. If he does the business in the ring, I'm quite sure he will. He's an excellent fighter, Lee. I've always been a fan of his style and how he fights. Him and Josh Warrington at Ellen Road is a big fight. It's a great fight, and it's we've got two guys who are at the top of their game. It's not an old guy fighting a young guy. They're both at their peak, and I think you get a good fight out of it.
Any just before we move on to the rest, we've heard a lot of words from Josh Warrington about how he believes you've avoided him, that he's ready for you and what he's going to do to him. Have you got any message you'd like to send to him?
No messages. But to be honest, I think he's sort of obsessed with me. He keeps going on and mentioning my name. Even during his last fight, he's calling mine. His father was like mentioning my name. Just leave me alone, give me a break. And I see you when I win.
When James spoke, he said that you were one of his favourite fighters. What about being on the same card as James Degale?
That's the same. He's one of my favourite fighters. I believe we're pound for pound two of the best stylistic boxers in the UK.
Well, thank you very much. And now the undercard, Frank. Anthony Yard against, let me get the name right, Nicolas Siaklopcha. That is the correct pronunciation if anybody's wondering. Daniel Dubois in action as well against Dorian Darch, the Welshman. Joe Mullender against Lee Churcher, which promises to be a cracking fight as well. And Johnny Garton in action as well for the vacant European welterweight title. I mean, the undercard is a strong one.
It is a very strong one, and I'm looking forward to seeing our young stars in action. Anthony's, as I've said many times, he only had 12 amateur fights. He's had 13 pro fights, but he's absolutely coming on in leaps and bounds. He's done brilliantly for a guy with such limited amateur experience, and Tunde's done a fantastic job in guiding him and training him. But he's up against a tough guy now, and this is going to be a tough fight for him. He's very experienced, and he'll get the best out of Anthony.
Well, Nicola, as some of you guys might not know, he went the distance, got a draw with Robert Stieglitz, who's the former world champion, and also went the distance with Arthur Abraham, and he reckons that he was on the wrong end of a hometown decision in that one as well. So, I mean, that's on paper, that's certainly good pedigree, Frank.
It certainly is, and as I say, he will bring it at this stage of Anthony's career. It's a good fight for him, and it's one where hopefully he'll get some rounds under his belt. I know you want to get rid of him quickly, but we would like to see him get some rounds under his belt. But he's such an explosive puncher, he's a dynamic fighter, and I'm sure as soon as that bell goes, he'll be looking to get rid of him.
Well, let's start with that one then on the undercard. Anthony, what are your thoughts of this fellow? Because he would appear to be a step up from anybody who's fought so far.
Very experienced. A lot more experience than me, basically. But again, I'm going to go out there and try and do what I do. I'm not focused on no one else. When it comes to fight, the way I see it is a fight is a fight, no matter who's put in front of you. And I'm just going to go out there and do my thing.
Frank says he'd like to see a few more rounds. You know, I mean, you're taking everybody out so quick now. 11 out of 12, all by stoppage. What do you think when you hear that? Do you sort of say, yeah, I'd like a few more rounds, or would you just like to go and blast him out?
It just depends on the night. You know, sometimes everyone's different. You've got different opponents that are put in front of you. And as James said, everyone's stylistically is different. So you might get someone in front of you that you see the punches, you know which punches to land or whatever, and then you might get someone in front of you that's a bit different, a bit more awkward. So again, it's all about styles and the punches that I landed. So I just think that when I'm landing on opponents, they're not lasting long. So we'll just see on the night.
And fans are really turning up in numbers to see you now as well. I mean, these guys, obviously, top of the bill fights, terrific fights to look forward to, but you're developing a serious following now.
Yeah, I thank everyone that's supporting me as well. Again, fans are what make fighters in any industry. Fans are what make entertainers. So yeah, I'm appreciated.
Was it the last time out that John Conti came up and spoke to you and said how much he rated you and how well he thought things were going? It must mean something to hear from one of our very great light heavyweights that sort of acclaim.
Again, yeah, definitely. He came in my change room. We had a few words. It's all motivation. When things like that happen, it boosts your morale. Some people it might make them more nervous, but again, for me, it boosts my morale. And I think that's the fight when I fought Barani.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good.
Nicola, you've got your interpreter with you. Tell us about what your thoughts are of Anthony. How do you rate him? What are his strengths as a fighter?
Pa poštujem njegov dobar skor. He respect his good score. Poštujem njegov lijep izgled i dobru građu. He respect his good look and well built, nice decorative build. Mislim da je on i njegov tim da su prevelik zalogani za njega sada izabrali. But he think that him and his team they maybe decide to take such a big bite, this time. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's too early, for such a big bite to take.
What makes you say that?
Pa zato što mislim da je neiskusan za mene, da mu neće biti dovoljno samo taj njegov jaki zapad. Because of he thinks that he's inexperienced first in the amateur level and opponent that he fought, and that he's maybe hard punch is not going to be enough for him to decide that match into his favor.
How confident are you that you can win the fight?
Pa došao sam izuzetno dobro spreman i došao sam samo po tom opcijom da u subotu pobijedim. He came really well prepared and there is no any other compromise and option but to win.
Well, that one's for the WBO Intercontinental belt and the European WBO European light heavyweight title as well. So that's one of our support bouts, and also Daniel Dubois, who's now joined us, centre of the bottom table here, one of our most exciting young prospects, undefeated in 5. What are your thoughts so far, Frank, as he goes towards a fight on Saturday night against the Welshman Dorian Darch?
Well, I'm really excited about Triple D. Dangerous Daniel Dubois, he does the business, and he's in with a good opponent. This stage of his career, it's his 6th fight. He's only a young guy. He was a teenager until a couple of months ago, but he's learning the game well. He's so composed, I'm very excited about what he does in the gym, what I've seen, and certainly what he's done in the ring. But this is another fight that's going to hopefully get the best out of him, that he'll learn from. And Dorian obviously sees this as an opportunity to come and be the new young big name in heavyweight boxing.
How big a puncher do you think he is? I mean, you've had experience for a few years. How hard do you think this fella hits?
I'm sort of pretty careful. I like to think I'm a bit careful with young fighters bringing them through and so forth, and I have done that over the years. But I think with what I like about Daniel what excites me about him, I think at this stage of his career, I think he's the best, certainly the best British heavyweight that I've seen at this stage of his career in British heavyweight boxing, and I include all of them.
So, by that way of thinking, you'd say very much a world champion in the making.
Well, if he continues to do what he does and he continues to learn, and if we find out about what he's like going the distance, what he's like when he gets called on the whiskers, they're all questions that are going to be answered in time. But the way he's going at the moment, and the way and what you see him doing, what you hear he does in the gym, and you hear the reports back from guys that he sparring with, they're all very, very impressed with him, and he certainly does impress me.
Daniel, get yourself a microphone in front of you so we can hear from you. Dorian Darch on Saturday night. You're not wasting time at the moment with your fights, are you? Is he going to be expecting more of the same?
We'll just have to wait and see. I'm training very hard for this one, so I'm ready for Saturday.
How much are you enjoying getting down there and having these fights at the Copper Box? You don't exactly take in overtime, do you?
No, not at all, but I'm learning every day in the gym and I'm getting better as I'm improving as a professional fighter, so it's onwards and upwards.
Frank says he's been impressed. I think everybody who's watched you's been impressed, but as a 20-year-old young learning fighter, what things are you still working on?
Everything, movement, boxing skills, and just being more ring craft, just being wiser in the ring and being a better fighter.
Is there anybody particularly who you've watched, who you listen to, who you think, yeah, that's a man I want to emulate?
I've studied a lot of fighters, but I focus on myself and just try and sharpen up on what I need to do.
Who do you really rate? I mean, we've had some great fighters. Lennox Lewis, I guess, is top of the tree in terms of those of years gone by. But I know those from overseas. Larry Holmes said some nice things about you, and other guys have started to be impressed. Ring Magazine have recognised you as one of the top prospects in the world.
Larry Holmes is one of the great all-time heavyweight fighters, and I'm glad that they're noticing me, and BT's giving me the exposure to all around the world, so I'm thankful for that.
Larry said if you can jab, you'll succeed. Did you take that one on board, that the jab was key, that Larry Holmes had maybe the best jab of the lot?
Definitely, I know I can jab. I've got a very good jab, so I've just got to start using it more and just keep up good work.
So what's your ambition on Saturday night? Another knockout win?
Definitely a win.
I want to get on to the X Factor final.
Definitely a winner. I'm just ready for the challenge Saturday.
Two more fights up there, and the lads are in front of me as well. Starting off with Joe Mullender from Brentwood, big ticket seller, former English champion, who's going to be fighting the Welshman Lee Churcher for the vacant IBF European middleweight title. And this is going to be a fight which is going to be shown on Box Nation. And Frank, this is one which can't fail, really.
I think it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be very competitive, and they're both competitive fighters. Their styles will gel, and I think you'll get toe-to-toe action in it. And I'm extremely looking forward to it.
Joe, we know, had those two great fights against Lee Markham, and they were some of the most exciting fights that we've seen on Box Nation. I mean, he's a thrill-a-minute sort of fighter, isn't he?
He is, and as you say, he's got a big support base. His fans will be there, so there'll be great atmosphere, great action, and hopefully it's as good as one of his previous two fights. I don't think people can be disappointed. And
Lee as well, getting this chance at the age of, 37? I mean, it's almost a, I don't say this disparagingly, it's almost a Cinderella man opportunity, isn't it?
It is, and again, I'm sure he's looking to come and upset the plans of Joe, that we'll see. So it's got the ingredients of being a good fight.
Well, let's hear from the two fellas. Joe, first of all, you had those two amazing fights against Lee Markham. You never seem to have a dull one.
Well, that's for other people to say. To be honest, I just turn up, be in the best shape I can, and I expect Lee to be in good shape. I expect him to be strong, durable, but let's meet in the middle and have a go.
Have you seen much of Lee? Do you know what to expect?
I haven't. I don't really look at opponents I fight, to be honest. I had a look on YouTube for 5 minutes, but then we keep wanted the phone again, so I didn't really get a chance. But I'll listen. He's either going to go on a back foot, and I'll have to hunt him down, or hopefully he meets me in the middle of the ring, and let's dance.
Well, let's hear from Lee then. Are you going to be on the front foot, or are you going to make it difficult for him and fight off the back foot? What do you reckon?
I can't give that away, sorry. You'll have to wait. There's obviously 2 options I have got, and he's just pretty much covered them both. You know, he's a come forward fighter, he's strong, durable. You know, either meet him in the middle, go toe to toe, or I pick him off on the back foot. He's pretty much see which one's going to suit me, see which one's working. You know, I'm strong enough to meet him in the middle, I'm strong enough to hurt him in the middle. You know, if that works, we're doing it that way. If it don't work that way, I go on the back foot and pick him off that way.
Great opportunity, isn't it, Lee? I mean, you've got this one at relatively short notice,
Yeah.
and been working with it. I don't know if people have realised this at the back of the room here. One of our best Welsh fighters of recent years, who's training you, Gavin Rees. And what's it like?
Head movements. He's made a few little tweaks to me, which is good. Obviously, we haven't had much time together, but the time we have had, I'm very happy with. You know, it couldn't have happened at a better time for me, this fight. Yes, it is short notice, but you know, the game plan we have got, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
And Joe, you'll have, as ever, a lot of support in that auditorium, won't you?
Yeah, I cannot say how grateful I am for people who support me, because, like Anthony said, we don't fight without people buying tickets. So hopefully they'll make lots of noise. Me and the fellow over there will have a good tear up that everyone wants to watch and everyone's happy.
Tommy Langford, the British champion, due to be defending perhaps in February.
Yeah.
I guess potentially for whoever wins this one, Tommy Langford's a very real opportunity.
If he comes through his defence of his title, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's one that we've got to look forward to, and also Johnny Garton, who's here in front of me as well, who's going to be fighting Michael Orlov, vacant IBF European welterweight champion title, and Johnny. Well, he's only been defeated on one occasion. That was against Sam Eggington. He'll have a point to prove, wanting to make a statement.
He's a very good fighter. I'm very impressed with Johnny, the way he's, the way he's gone about his business, and he's getting himself into a good position now. This is a stepping stone for him. If he comes through this, he'll go on to bigger and better things. It'll get him a ranking, get him in the top 10, world top 10. And as you say, he's only lost one fight, and when you think about a game with Johnny, he's got a big fan base, he'll be well supported, he sells a lot of tickets, so again there'll be great atmosphere there.
Johnny, fantastic to be on this bill, isn't it? As part of a genuinely big world title boxing bill, and you're part of it.
Yeah, it's my first time on a big show, so I'm excited about that, and obviously it's a great card. So yeah, I just can't wait to get out there and show what I can do.
Is two of the big names sitting behind you? I guess as you come through, these are two of the fellas who you'll have looked up to and thought, yeah, they're special, and now here you are on the same bill.
Yeah, no, I've watched all their fights, big fans obviously, and I'm always support them because they're British. But yeah, now to be on the undercard of them, I can't wait.
And what do you anticipate from Michael Orlov, who's going to be against you? Know anything about him, or is it a case of learning when you get in the ring?
I've seen little clips. I know he's aggressive, likes to come forward, very tough. So everyone knows that's what I like to do, and yeah, it'll be a good fight.
Okay, well that's the fighters who are in action. Chance for one-to-one interviews in a moment or two. But any questions from the floor for the fellas who are up here? Anybody want to fire something forward now? Yeah.
For James Degale. James, you've got a lot of big matchups coming up next year. Do you feel it will be a pivotal year? your story?
Yeah, 100%. First thing first, I've got to deal with Truex first, but yeah, next year I want the winner of the Super Series, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Who do you think will be the winner of the Super Series, by the way?
You know, when it first got announced, I thought Smith, you know, I fancied Smith. But after seeing him against that, what's his name? Yeah, Norwegian guy, or Swedish guy, I'm not too sure. It's a pick 'em. I'm not too sure. I'm hoping Groves for the rematch. It's massive. But I'm easy. You bank Smith, whoever.
Is the Groves one the one that burns? Is that one you really want?
Not really, John. Because I was champ before him.
I know how much you love him.
I went on and achieved a lot, earned loads of money. I'm sweet, and that killed him. Trust me, that hurts him. I'm the champ. I'm really the man. I'm the recognised #1, and that kills him. So no, I'm happy. Cool. If I don't box George Groves ever again, I'll be happy. But so I'm saying, going forward, to fight for the fans, yeah, I would like it.
Anybody else? Any more for any more?
No questions? Just do your one-on-ones.
Okay.
Just before we go.
Final words, Frank? Yeah?
Yeah, besides the fight being on BT and Box Nation, we'd like to thank our sponsors, 32 Red, Full Asylum and Rainham Steel, and also for Radio 5, we've just done a deal with, we'll be broadcasting some of our shows from Saturday and the future.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much for coming here today. All the fighters are here, as you can hear, all of them.